This is going to be a pretty quick video because all of the books I'm listing, I've already made longer videos about these books. You can find those videos in the description down below or somewhere here from my Palestine books playlist. You can also find in the description links to all of the books from bookshop.org. Bookshop.org is a company that works with small and local businesses and gives them a little bit more of a kickback whenever you buy books through bookshop.org. Alternatively, try and get these books from your local library. So this list is in no particular order, but the first book, 100 Years War on Palestine. This book is a super comprehensive look at the history of Palestine, the history of the oppression of the Palestinians, and also the more intricate details that is often overlooked when you're looking at researching the suffering of the Palestinian people. It goes into a long breakdown into the lead up to the creation of the Zionist entity, the oppression the Palestinians have faced from the Zionist entity, and the various steps along the way. I believe the edition I read was published, I think, in 2020, but I'm not 100% sure. So you might be able to find newer versions of these books, which are a little bit more updated in their afterwards or their prelogues. But I definitely recommend this book as a comprehensive overview of the history of Palestine. Secondly, this is kind of cheating, but the 3 books of Edward Said's that are about Palestine or tangentially related to Palestine. So Orientalism, the Palestine Question, and Culture and Imperialism. All 3 of these books give you a good overview of a Palestinian academic's look at the effects of Western imperialism on the area in the Middle East and also further afield in East Asia, but there is always look backs and callbacks to Palestine throughout the books. Obviously the second book is completely about Palestine, but the other 2 it does definitely refer back to Palestine a lot, and also Said is maybe the author you should definitely also have read if you're concerned about sort of Middle East politics and colonialism, so definitely check those out. Next up is The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine by Ilan Pappé. This is a book you're going to see everywhere. You've probably seen it everywhere for over a decade anyway, but it is a very, very detailed account of the Nakba and the effect of the Nakba on the Palestinian people. And Ilan Pappé is a very good writer and a very good historian or professor, academic at the very least, maybe that's a better word. Talking of Ilan Pappé, you should also pick up 10 Myths About Israel. This is a great book of helping you break down the Zionist arguments that pro-Israel individuals and groups put forward about defending the state of Israel and its actions in Palestine, not just at the moment, but throughout history. Very good. It goes into good detail talking about these myths and basically unraveling them, trying to explain how they try and justify these myths and how these myths don't make any sense. So those 2 Ilan Pappé books, definitely get them as well. And finally, this is a personal recommendation. I would say the books by Raja Shahade. There are a few you could probably pick up. So maybe Palestinian Walks or Palestine Walks is maybe a good one to kind of start off. It basically is him talking about how much the West Bank, in this case, has changed throughout his life and how the encroachment of the Zionist entity into the West Bank has made it so much harder for him to simply walk through his homeland, to simply experience living in his homeland. It is actually quite infuriating, not because of him, but because of the stories he's telling. And this isn't just in the case in this book. He has other books where he kind of talks about his life as a human rights lawyer, trying to actively live in Palestine and trying to live through the environment that the Zionist entity has caused for him to have to live within and these struggles to do that. He also obviously talks about his father and his family who were very prominent in Palestine as well historically. His father also being a human rights lawyer and activist, and who was actually executed in the middle of the street, which is also just a heart-wrenching story to hear. And it's just telling you the reality that Palestinians live through, not just since October, but historically have had to live through under the Zionist entity, and how hard it is to do something as simple as walk through your town, walk through your home. I cannot imagine not being able to walk through my local park because this colonial entity says I cannot, or these colonizers come here and say actually your people are not allowed in this area. I'm getting angry and frustrated talking about it. So Raja Shahada's books are some that I also recommend. So those are all the books I'm going to give you now. Obviously there are so many more books about Palestine I could give you, and so many more books about Palestine that I probably haven't even read. So please, in the comments, let me know, are there any other books that you think I should have recommended or that you personally recommend to pick up? I'm sure people who are watching this will really appreciate those comments. Also, you know, you can get all of these books down below from bookshop.org, where I'm going to link to all of them, or alternatively get them from your local library or other independent bookstore. And also you can get a link to all of my videos where I go into more depth about, I think, all of these books I've spoken about. So that's going to be in the description and maybe somewhere here if I remember to do it when I upload the video. Obviously, the brutalization of Palestine has gotten I don't know how to say significantly worse, but it's been escalated even further with Israel's actions in the West Bank. You know, the biggest military incursion into the West Bank since the Second Intifada. So in about 20 years, the killing of Palestinians continuing in Gaza. The last report I read was that all of Gaza, or at least the whole humanitarian zone in Gaza, is 11% of the entirety of Gaza. So you can imagine Israel is trying to push approximately 2 million people into 11% of a landmass that was already, you know, overly populated, for lack of a better term. Very densely populated is probably a better way of saying that. So please, if you are advocating for Palestine or advocating for any other struggle in the world, do keep it up. Do not be disheartened. I personally have to battle with that every day, where I feel disheartened about what has happened, but you got to keep pushing, because that is what we are meant to do. Whilst they are fighting to survive, we must fight to ensure their survival. Please continue to, you know, pester your local officials. Please continue to raise awareness, to donate. If you are from the UK, please come to the National March in London next week, Saturday the 7th of September. I will try my darndest. I'm 95% sure I will be there. So please, let's keep up the good work. And yeah, thank you for watching. And I hope you read one of these great books that I recommended to you.